Hey folks, everything new under the sun. This is a public service announcement. Now, I've spoke about this before, and my channel has been banned and shut down before for speaking of what you see on screen there. You can't mention the word C-U-R-E because that is against the YouTube policy, so I won't mention that. But there is a treatment and a connection between those two, Ivor and the big C word, as you can read in the bottom here. This is Dr. John Campbell. He is a great. He's a nurse in the UK, and he's a great man. And he used to teach, I guess, nurses and medical information to them and procedures and all that sort of stuff. And now he has a big channel, of course, 3 million people, and you've probably heard him before. You've probably followed him through all of the last number of years for the you-know-what. And he has really made a big turnaround. But he is now reviewing research papers that link Ivor to the treatment of the big C word there. And I would just recommend go watch. I just can't say very much without my channel being getting a strike or banned. But in terms of prepper videos, how to be prepared for the last days, get healthy is the first thing. Get a few bottles of water, a little bit of food stored up, some cash on hand. Use your brain. God gave you a brain and expects you to use it in these last days. One of the other things you should have prepared and maybe stored away are some medicines, Tylenol, Advil, whatever common things you may need if the grocery stores are shut down, if the pharmacies are shut down, if we go on lockdown, for example, again, like we have in the past. Have basic medical supplies. That includes Band-Aids, isopropyl alcohol for cleaning wounds and such. And antibiotics is another thing that you should think about maybe having. Now, I have antibiotics for my animals, for example, for chickens, for various mites and things that chickens and issues chickens get. And also you may want to have some medicines for your horses, if you have horses, right? And one of those things is the Ivor that you see mentioned there. And that is, it's known already. It was known pre the last 4 or 5 years. It was known before all that stuff came about in the whole world as a wonder drug. And it is even more a wonder drug now as research is coming out that it indeed helps people heal and they are successfully treated by that particular thing, which is all natural, by the way. It occurs naturally in creation. And I believe God created the earth. He created the earth about 6,000 years ago. It's been about 4,000 years since the flood of Noah. And at that time in the Garden of Eden, the earth was made for man and to sustain man, and everything was good. And that means God created the planet with all the healing herbs and food and plants and trees to heal the nations and to heal people. And that's one of the reasons why they lived so long prior to the flood. The other reason was, of course, the atmosphere, the pressurized atmosphere. But I believe there's really antidotes and treatments in nature all over. We just haven't explored it, or there's a specific effort not to explore it because there's money in creating your own duplicate of what God's created and is available naturally, and then you can charge for it if you put a copyright on it, if you patent it. And so a lot of people are making a lot of money basically copying God's creations, but making it different enough that the governments of the world allow them to sell it for big money. That's a bit of a rabbit trail, but John Campbell has spoken about that. But I will just mention that you should, I suggest you look into acquiring this. And it doesn't necessarily matter what form it's in, and this is going to be Up to you. It's your responsibility for your own health and safety to understand what you're doing, what you're getting, how you're using it. None of this is medical advice or any sort of advice. I'm not telling you to do something. This is all on your own. But it's just one of the things that for myself I have, and there's a bunch of different ways to get it, and it doesn't have to be through some government organized method to attain that, if you know what I mean. And again, I've spoken of this in the past on my channel, and of course those videos rather have been pulled, have been banned, have been taken down. I've gotten strikes for them, etc. Do your own research, seek it out. The truth is there, just like the Lord Jesus Christ. He is there if you seek Him out. The truth is there for everything else. Although the world may call it a conspiracy or fake information, fake news, the truth is out there if you seek it out, and ask for the Lord's wisdom on that topic, and you make up your own mind in your brain if it's right for you. But I would suggest you get a few tubes of that stuff. It could come very handy for whatever the next pandemic may be, whatever the next pestilence may be, or even if you're battling the big C, or will in the future, and we will all battle the big C in the future. It's just life. At some point, you will get the big C, and you will need to deal with it, whether through chemotherapy or alternative means, whatever it may be, and come to realize that God already made stuff to address this that is freely available in nature, but more easily attainable and not too costly in alternative formats. If you see what I mean. You can get the tablets, for example, but they're fairly expensive. But you do you. Take my words with a grain of salt and do your own research. But it is highly recommended. It was a wonder drug before. It is even more wonder drug now, and I think it's an invaluable option to have and tool in your toolkit. Should we not be able to get to the stores? Should they push more things on us, etc. So I guess that's all I can say. It also helps against long small c, if you want to call it that, if you know what I mean, and adverse effects. It also helps heal against adverse effects of the other thing, the supposed antidote to the situation. And so it helps in all those cases. It's an anti-inflammatory agent. So anything that's related to inflammation and cancer is a huge that's why cancer happens, because of inflammation, and you can go read up on it. But this, Ivor addresses that inflammation, so it's going to solve a lot of medical issues likely once they kind of figure it out and come to that realization and get, once they get funding to go past what big pharma is interested in doing there, they'll find a lot more uses for it, I think. So that's one of the biggest things I learned out of that period. And again, wonder drug, and very safe, by the way. So you do your own research. Thanks for watching. Make up your own mind.